Hey everybody, this is Brian here. I hope you're having a great week so far. Tomorrow's Thursday. This is Wednesday, February 29th, 2024 in the early evening in Southern California. Behind me, if it seems kind of bright, it's the sun's going down. About 2 blocks from me is the beach, Redondo Beach. So that's some time here. I thought I'd do a quick video. It's not going to be that quick, maybe a little longer than normal. We're going to get right into it. Let's just get right into it. Just a lot going on, folks. Oh my goodness. Where do you start? I mean, okay, here's where we're going to start. I know we could talk about Israel, what's going on there. Lebanon sent 60 rockets into northern Israel. Okay. What else is going on? Iran is threatening nuclear. Russia is threatening nukes against NATO now because NATO is sending more troops to the border, and the president of France made a threat against Russia today. You know, it's almost like they're poking the bear, no pun intended, on purpose. They want a war. Why in the world would you want a nuclear war? You know why? Because he had a plan to depopulate the earth, so when it's all said and done and they come out of their bunkers, they can rebuild a new world order. And I haven't really talked about this. We're going to get into things in the future, more about the aliens, what's going on with that, because all this stuff's in the news now. And we need to be aware of what's going on. We need to be, when we see these things happening, not to be scared, not to be deceived, to be sober-minded and realize that this is planned. This new world order, they're trying to force on us, and they're going to use every event to do it. They started with 9/11. Look what happened after 9/11. We couldn't go on airplanes anymore without, our relatives had to stay outside. They used to walk us to the gate. Remember that? Taking shoes off and belts off and being scanned and all that. It had nothing to do with 9/11. That's another story. I can't get into that too deep. I don't want to be shut down. You know what I'm talking about. And then, you got, let's just speed up. You got March 15th of 2019. We got that. We got the war in Ukraine. Why all of a sudden is Ukraine so important? A few years ago, nobody even knew about that country, pretty much. And now it's in the news every single day. Because, folks, we're looking for Jesus Christ to come and take us to heaven. The New World Order is looking for the Antichrist to lead a new world. Part of that world order, and you can look it up, I can't mention names, but there's some billionaires out there that want to depopulate the earth, and those same billionaires are buying farmland all over our country. Why? And they're buying it and not planting on it. Like hundreds of thousands, if not millions of acres. And more than one billionaire is doing that. I can't mention names, but you know who I'm talking about. Why are they doing that? Why all these food processing plants all of a sudden just blowing up all over the country for the last 2 years, 3 years? I can go on and on and on, because they're implementing a plan. And when Trump was in there, number 45 was in there, he slowed the plan down, and they couldn't allow him to be in there again. And ever since that happened, our nation, the U.S., is just going down, right? Excuse me, allergies. There's a lot of stuff in the air in Southern California today. So, you just got all this stuff going on. I'm just talking right now. I have some things I want to talk about, but I'm just talking to you and to myself. I'm listening to myself, thinking this world is really spiraling. And it is. And I'm not a doom and gloomer. I'm actually a very optimistic person. I see the cup half full. And I see these events as a sign that our Lord is about to rapture us, a pre-tribulation rapture, very, very, very soon. And so what's going on is, it's hard to watch in our country, but it has to happen. America's not a main player in Bible prophecy. I believe America was brought forth by God for many reasons, to bless the world and to bless Israel especially. And when we start turning our back on Israel, which we are doing, it doesn't go good for the nations that try to divide Israel's land. It says in Genesis, those who divide God's land will be divided. Do you see that? Wow. And all the presidents, I hate to say it, but all the presidents in the last 30 or 40 years have been trying to do that. God won't have it. You know why? This is interesting. God doesn't say it's Israel's land. God says it's his land. Look at the scriptures. It's God's land. Those who divide my land, he says, I will divide. Belongs to God. And nobody's going to divide that land without him having something to say about it. So all this is going on right now, right, folks? All the stuff I just talked about. And then there's the elephant in the room. And they're not talking about it. And I've been talking about it, and I'm going to continue to talk about it because it's affecting us. And we're going to talk about some of the effects of that in a few minutes. The binary system that's in our solar system that's going to pass by us. It's approaching us. I've mentioned this before. You can go on Mr. MBB333 on YouTube. He's got videos of double suns, double moons. You can look them up. Is it fake? I don't think so. Tell you the truth, this is just a word. Of course, I'm going to tell you the truth. When was it? Let me think. It was a few years ago. My wife and I were standing on the Esplanade, is a sidewalk that overlooks the beach in Redondo Beach, and it was about just the sun was just going down. I can't remember. It was like 4 or 5 years ago, and the sun went down. Everybody's standing there. And it went like below the horizon, below the ocean. We could see it, dip below the ocean horizon. And then my wife goes, look. And it came back up. But it wasn't the sun. And it came up high and everything lit up like it was day. People were taking videos and pictures. It was crazy. This happened a few years ago. I saw it. What's going on? And I've said this before, nothing's by accident. I mentioned in my last video about the eclipse on April 8th of this year, 2024, and the 7 planets being lined up, my last video. And, the comet that's going to go by the same time, okay? The odds of that. And I also mentioned that video, nothing is a coincidence in Bible prophecy. That sign, and the signs we're seeing every day on the news, is for the church, for us. I read that. I think it was Luke 25, I can't remember now, that those who see these things look up. Look up in the sky. Why? What's going to come out of the sky? Yeshua HaMashiach. Jesus is going to come out of the sky. Physically, come out of the sky. Come into our dimension. We're going to see him. We're going to be raptured, or we're going to be changed in a moment, in the twinkling of an eye, and we are going to meet him in the air. And we're going to fly away with him to heaven, and we're always going to be with him. That event is about to happen, but before that event happens, signs of the tribulation are everywhere. See, nothing has to happen prophetically for the rapture to happen. It could have happened 100 years ago. But prophetically, things have to happen for the tribulation to happen. Hence, the marking of the mark of the beast, Revelation 13:16. 100 years ago, you couldn't track everybody in the world. You couldn't give them a mark. There was no phone system. There was nothing. It was telegraph 120 years ago. Well, obviously now I'm on a little teeny device recording this, so you can see it, and you're all over the world or the country, and you can see it. Amazing, right? Now we have the technology. We are in that era of the rapture right now, and technology is one sign, just one of many signs. So we're going to get back to the binary system. This binary system is going to make itself known very, very soon, where the news won't be able to hide it, because you'll be able to see the effects of it. Will we see that big, huge thing? I don't know. Maybe after we're gone, the people living on the earth might see it. And it's hundreds of millions, if not over 1 billion miles away. But that's close in space when you got something 4 times the size of Jupiter with its own solar system. And Jupiter, off the top of my head, the Earth is, okay, I know you guys out there know, you can look on your phone and see how the circumference of the Earth, but it's 25,000 miles around. I think Jupiter is 380,000 miles. I could be wrong, but it's big. This thing is 3 to 4 times bigger than that. It's big. And it's doing a flyby. And as it gets closer, the weather's going to act weird. There's going to be more earthquakes, more solar flares. And another thing I haven't talked about, people are going to change. Because when this thing comes closer, it's changing. Right now, as we speak, it's changing the pressure of our atmosphere. Our bodies are electrical. We're water, but we're also electricity. Our brain runs on electricity. The heart runs on electrical. It just does. That's how God made us. I'm not a scientist. I'm not a doctor, but I know that much. And as this thing comes closer, it's going to change the atmosphere, which it's doing now, because we're going to get into why. I'm going to read to you the changes in the atmosphere, what's happening all around the world. And it's going to affect our moods. It's going to affect our moods. The pressure in the atmosphere affects us. Everything is balanced. When God made all of this, everything is in perfect balance, right? The balance is being moved out of balance. The poles on the sun, as somebody commented, thank you for that comment, are shifting. I should have mentioned that last video, but they are shifting. Also, the magnetic poles of the earth are shifting, and the physical north and south are shifting. There's coming a time when this thing gets closer, it's going to move our planet and knock it off its axis. Not just that, we're in Revelation 8:8, there's an asteroid or meteorite is going to hit the earth and hit the ocean. John saw it in a vision, and it says it was like a burning mountain. So this thing is big. It doesn't destroy the whole earth, but 1/3 of the fish and the ships in the sea are destroyed, whatever ocean it hits. There's another one that has a tail. It seems like it's a comet, Revelation 8:8. It's wormwood, makes the water bitter and kills hundreds of millions of people. That's just 2 events. That's just 2. And there's 21 judgments in the book of Revelation. That's just 2. Folks, I'm going to stop right here. You don't know the Lord, and you're listening to this, you're watching this, you need to get on the boat. You need to get on the ark. The ark is Jesus Christ. You need to get saved. I mean, you need to get saved now, okay? You don't, it's to say the rapture's 10 years off. It's not. I don't believe that, but let's just say it's 10 years from now. You may die tomorrow. I've lived long enough. I'm 65 years old. I've seen people just all of a sudden die. I've seen them at work, family members. They just have a heart attack. They hit by a car accident, whatever. They're gone. Or they get cancer and they die slow, which is horrible. My point is, you don't know if you have tomorrow, folks. If you don't know Jesus and you're watching this and you think I'm some kind of kook, that's on you. But you're going to have to answer to the living God. You're going to have to stand before him and say to him, you're going to have to convince him why he should let you into heaven. Being good doesn't do it. Having money doesn't do it. Doing good deeds doesn't do it. He's going to ask you, what do you say about my son? You're going to say, what son? Oh, Jesus? Oh, yeah, he was a prophet. Wrong answer. You're cast into hell. You need to ask Jesus in your heart. Admit that you're a sinner. We all know we're sinners, right? If you don't, then you got more issues than most of us. You're a sinner. You're born that way. Admit to God you're a sinner. Confess your sins to him. Believe that Jesus was the Son of God. He came here as a baby, grew up to be a man, ministered, raised the dead, and went to the cross died on that cross to pay for your sins. God had to have a sacrifice, a payment. And no other sacrifice would do. It had to be a pure, sinless sacrifice. And it was, because it was Jesus, the Son of God, sinless, perfect man. And he's buried and rose on the third day. Now he's in heaven at the right hand of God, interceding for us. If you don't believe that, you're going to hell. And I don't even believe it in your head, intellectually. A lot of people believe that, and they know in your heart. It's got to go from here down to here. If it doesn't go from here down to here, you're going to go down there. But if you've asked Jesus in your heart and you're a believer, you guys should be really excited what's going on. I know life is tough. I don't know about you. Maybe it's just me. But life seems it's getting harder and harder. Not just paying bills and going to work, but just people are just stressed out. Or is it just me? People are generally good people, but can you tell? Maybe it's just Southern California. You drive on the freeways down here. It's crazy down here. But generally speaking, it just seems people are a little distracted. That's because we're living in the last days. There's a lot of pressure on us believers right now to live a godly life. And God is rooting for us. He's telling us with these signs that I'm about to read, church, hang in there. Whoever you are, he's telling you right now, don't give up. Put the pill bottle down. Put the gun down. Put the knife down. You're in a car and you want to run it off a cliff right now. Pull over. Take a step back. Excuse me, my nose is killing me today. Take a step back, because life's more than what you're going through right now. If you're a believer, don't go there. He's got a plan for you. Until we're out of here, he can use you. Whoever you are. You may be the only person in a certain situation that right at this moment that he can use to talk to somebody, maybe at work. He's telling you, don't give up. Don't give up. Do not give up. Wow, we have a lot. There's a lot going on, isn't there? Let's get into it. Let's just get into this. I didn't mean to go this long rambling, but I do that all the time. So here we go. I'm going to read some articles here, make some comments, and then probably be done there. It's just crazy what's going on. And now, I mentioned that binary system. I'll get back to that. It's changing our weather. Folks, they're changing the narrative. They're changing terminology to describe our weather. They're talking about Category 6 hurricanes now. I mentioned before in a podcast, atmospheric rivers, micro bursts. It's just like a burst of water. A micro burst, like I said before. They're trying to make coffee or something. They're changing the narrative, because things are changing, and they're trying to make it normal so people don't freak out. They don't want us to know what's coming, but it's coming. And here's one right here. And I used to spend a lot of time here, Lake Tahoe, California, Nevada. Spent a lot of time up there when I was a kid growing up. Love that place. It's gorgeous. It's beautiful. And I've been in snowstorms up there and in the mountains. Used to backpack a lot. But this is crazy stuff. And this is on Fox Weather, website. Life-threatening blizzard to snarl California mountains. Travel with 10 feet, 10 feet plus of snow and 100-mile-an-hour winds. In this article, it goes on to it says there could be up to 12 feet of snow in 1 to 2 days with 100-mile-an-hour hurricane winds. Really? 100-mile-an-hour winds. This should be a main story on the news tonight. If it's not, maybe it is, because I haven't seen it, but it should be. Like I said, I've been in the mountains a lot when I was younger. I've been in blizzards and snowstorms, 60, 70 mile an hour winds, 100 mile an hour sustained winds with 10 to 12 feet of snow in 24 to 48 hours. That would bury a one-story house. I'm a carpenter by trade. I was a contractor. I've been building for 50 years. I know homes. That's above the gutter line on the house. That's a couple of feet on a one-story house, depending on the house. That's a couple of feet above the gutter. So you go to sleep one night, you wake up, you can't get out of your house. Your car's buried under 8 feet of snow. Let's say your car sits, you have an SUV, you're 5 feet tall. So there's 5 to 6 feet of snow, 7 feet of snow on top of your car. This is not normal, folks. This is not normal. This is not normal. Let's go on to the next one here. I read this stuff. It comes in. There's so much going on. I'm almost like numb to it, but yet I'm not. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, okay, 10 to 12 feet of snow in a big storm. No big deal. Here we go. Kansas City. This is Fox Weather again. Kansas City could see 50-degree drop in 12 hours as central U.S. goes from record heat to flash freeze. They're in record heat, and they're going to drop 50 degrees in 12 hours. See if I can write a little more here. If you don't like the weather in Kansas City this week, just wait a few minutes. The next 24 hours will be the temperature rolling coaster as part of a potential cold front will cause a radical shift in the weather pattern across the central U.S., reinforced by an Arctic blast. So imagine dropping 50 degrees in 12 hours. I've been, where I've seen it drop 15, 20 degrees, storm comes in, but 50 degrees? Wow. Okay, let's go to the next one here. This is on NBC News. Over 100 record highs likely this week as temperatures soar to summer-like levels. And then it's going to drop 50 degrees. The warm temperatures will also fuel severe storms capable of golf ball-sized hail and isolated tornadoes across the Midwest on Tuesday. A violent week of weather is setting up for the contiguous U.S. with extreme temperatures, severe thunderstorms, and a widespread fire weather risk, all set to affect millions from coast to coast, with more than 100 record highs likely to be set. To kick off the week, highs as much as 30 to 45 degrees above average will lead to nearly 70 record highs Monday and highs Monday, and close to 50 record highs Tuesday. Okay, I just want to remind us, even though this is sunny Southern California, we do get winter here. We've had rain, it's been cold. We're not the Midwest, obviously, but this is winter time. Let's see, what is this? February 29th, tomorrow's March 1st. We're still in winter in the United States. 30 to 45 degrees above normal, and then it's going to drop 50 degrees. Folks, this is not normal. This is not normal weather pattern here. Excuse me. This is not. This is what you call cray-cray. Crazy, right? This is crazy. Let me see. I have another article if I can find it here. I guess I didn't download it. So, you get the picture. Now, why is this happening? Because Planet X, excuse me, I shouldn't say that. A binary system is approaching us. It's changing the weather. We're getting hit, and I haven't even talked about what I'm going to bring up here, but we're getting hit in space all the time. But God has put a system around the Earth, a magnetic field, to protect us from protons and radiation from the sun and outer space. Outer space is not friendly. It's not just black, dark out there. There's radiation out there. There's protons out there. There's asteroids. There's other stars blowing up that send out radiation bursts that travel at the speed of light. Our Earth has got this magnetic field that protects us from that. God, that's our shield. The magnetic field up in the upper atmosphere is getting weaker and weaker. It's failing. Why is it failing? Because it's being bombarded and they're not telling you the whole truth. When Planet X, I shouldn't be saying that, but when the binary system, excuse me, when the binary system is getting closer and closer, it pulls on our sun. I mentioned this before. You take two magnets, you push them together and want to push apart. Well, that's what's happening. It's the best way to explain it. So the sun is acting up. It's fighting this pull and this tug from this other system. So it heats up. It has these solar storms, as CME, coronal mass ejections, and these flare-outs, and they're rated like an X flare, an M-class flare, and they blow up off the surface of the sun at millions and millions and millions of miles an hour. Some only take 8 minutes to get to the Earth, and the Earth, without looking it up on Wikipedia, is around 90 million miles from the sun. So it makes it to Earth in 8 minutes. That's pretty fast. Some take a couple of days. It's still really fast. Hits our atmosphere. You see the northern lights. But these storms are getting more and more intense and stronger. It's weakening our magnetic field that protects us. And I didn't mention this before, but there's another thing that's been hitting us and started January 5th of this year. It's a supernova, the best I can explain it, that blew up 50 light years away, 40 light years away, whatever it is. And it sent out, like you see on television, these explosions send out this like blast, like this. You can see it go out, the blast wave. Well, these blast waves from this supernova have been hitting us since January 5th. They're full of radiation and protons, and they're hitting all the planets. They're hitting the Earth, but they're hitting the sun too. And then the sun reacts to that. We've had, I don't know how many we've had, 5, 6, or 7 of these since January has hit us. And they know about it. They know about all of this. I'm telling you, a time's coming where politics and who's in office is going to be the least of our worries. Jesus is coming back. The signs in the stars, the sun, and the moon, and in the sky, the ocean roaring. It's happening every day as we go to our jobs. And yes, it's not affecting us in the way that it's going to affect during the tribulation, but we see things changing quickly, folks. Very quickly. There was so much to do a video on. I was going to do one on Israel. I was going to do one on, Russia and China. But that's going to be the least of our worries in the next 6 months to a year. I'd say a year. Who knows? Nobody knows for sure how quick it's going to come. But I can tell you for sure, we are not here for those bad things in the book of Revelation. We are gone before this. 150%. We are not here for those judgments. But we can see the beginnings of those judgments. And that's what we're seeing on April 8th. That's what we're seeing with these storms, a 100-mile-an-hour snowstorm with 12 feet of snow in a couple of days, or maybe one day. That's unheard of. That's unheard of. The weather's changing because things out in space are changing. And look up. Your redemption draws nigh, folks. But Jesus is about to return. That's really what it comes down to. This whole podcast comes down to this one statement. Get ready. Your Redeemer is coming for you. He's coming for you. He's coming for you. He's coming for me. You can't stop him. It's a train coming down the track, and you can't stop it. Whether you believe pre-trib or post-trib, it doesn't matter. He's coming. And he's going to take you away. If you're living in sin and you're a believer, you're still going. There's not two raptures. There's one. The only prerequisite is that you ask Jesus in your heart. You've gotten saved. I pray that you do that. I pray this video will shake you up enough to realize the things you see going on around you aren't going to get better. It's going to get worse. Because Jesus said in Matthew 24, wars, rumors of wars, earthquakes in various places, and pestilence. But this is just the beginning, he said. And then he goes on and goes on later on and says, and I mentioned this in Luke, when you see these things, look up. Your redemption draws nigh. Folks, look up every day. It's by the grace of God that we're still here. It's by the grace of God. We are still here. You know what? I'm going to read something. It's a little bit longer video today. But that's okay. It's what God wants. I want to read something. I love this passage. I hope you do too. The book of Revelation used to scare me, and then I studied it, and it made me excited. It's not scary. Yes, it's horrible what's going to happen, but it shouldn't be scary for a believer. It's our future. So I'm going to look at Revelation chapter. Let me look here. Let's see. Chapter 5. Let me look at chapter 5. Excuse me, folks. This was just spur of the moment. I wasn't planning on reading this, but I think we should. So long. There's more to it what I'm going to read. You should read chapter 4 and 5 of Revelation. It's right after the churches of Asia Minor. It's right after the 7 churches. And it's a scene in heaven. And the first scene in heaven is God the Father on his throne. And the chapter 5 is the lamb that was slain. Comes out. God's holding a scroll in his right hand. And it's like the deed to the earth. Who's able to take this out of God's hand? Nobody in heaven, on the earth, or under the earth. And John starts to cry. And then somebody comes up and says, no, it's okay. The lamb that was slain before the foundation of the world, he is worthy. And Jesus comes out, grabs that scroll, opens, breaks the seals. He's the only one that can do it. And that starts the tribulation. But here's the scene in heaven. And let me preface this. This was in our future as I'm speaking now, because this hasn't happened yet, okay, right? But this will blow your mind. You're here. If you're a believer, you're actually in this worship service. But when this was written, you weren't born. But if you're a believer, you are in this service that I'm going to read. You're standing watching this happen, because this happens after the rapture. And between the throne and the 4 living creatures and among the elders, I saw a lamb standing, as though it had been slain, with 7 horns and with 7 eyes, which are the 7 spirits of God, sent out into all the earth. And he went and took the scroll from the right hand of him who was seated on the throne. And when he had taken the scroll, Jesus, the 4 living creatures and the 24 elders fall down before the Lamb, each holding a harp and golden bowls full of incense, which are the prayers of the saints. And they sang a new song. Worthy are you to take the scroll and to open its seals. For you were slain, and by your blood you ransomed people for God from every tribe and language and people and nation. And you have made them a kingdom and a priest to our God, and they shall reign on the earth. Then I looked and heard around the throne and the living creatures and the elders the voice of many angels, numbering myriads of myriads and thousands of thousands, saying with a loud voice, Worthy is the Lamb who was slain to receive power, wealth, wisdom, and might, and honor and glory and blessing. And I heard every creature in heaven and on the earth and under the earth and in the sea and all that is in them, saying, To him who sits on the throne and to the Lamb be blessings and honor and glory and might forever and ever. And the 4 living creatures said, Amen. And the elders fell down and worshipped. I am full of goosebumps just reading that. That's our future. That's a worship service quote, beginning of the tribulation, we're going to see him break the seals. But we're worshiping. The Lamb came out. Who's the Lamb? It's Jesus. He's not dead. He's alive. He's in heaven, preparing a home for us right now. It's almost done. The paint's drying. The doors are hung. The trim is up. I'm talking shop. This is what I do. But that's what he's doing. He's preparing a place. This event hasn't happened, but you're there. Wow. Focus on these things. This tomorrow's Friday, this weekend coming up. Go to church and worship God like you've never worshiped him before. Worship him like you're there now, because he deserves it. You're not in church, worship in your car. Praise him. Find a church that you can worship in and that teaches the Bible. Because, folks, there's not much time left. What we do now will meet us in heaven. It's bring everybody we can with us. Everybody we can, kicking and screaming. Folks, I love you guys. And thank you for your comments and all the views. I'm just blessed and awe on this podcast that God has helped me build, that you guys are even want to watch me. I'm humbled by it. I just, sometimes I feel like I have nothing to give, but then God does it, because I'm just like you. I'm just trying to get through this life, and waiting for the Lord to return and encourage everybody I can. So the bride's not asleep when he shows up. We're ready to go. And folks, it's almost here. You guys have a great night. God bless you. And God is with you always. This is Brian out. Bye.